Hello and welcome to the Ibrahim Strings Spotlight Concert. For those of you that haven't tuned in to any of our virtual concerts yet, my name's Miri and I play the cello and Viola da Gamba. I'm performing and talking to you from my living room in Finchley. Although some of the videos in this concert create the illusion that Kirsty and I were playing together, I can confirm that social distancing was observed and we have only been in our living rooms separately. As well as playing, we're going to be introducing the modern counterparts of our string family to you. So as well as my Baroque cello, I'm going to be showing you my modern cello, and Kirsty's going to do the same with her violin. For now though, I'm going to hand over to Kirsty, who's going to tell you a little bit about the first piece.
Hi everyone, I'm Kirsty. I'm a Baroque violinist. I regularly enjoy playing with Ibrahim and Baroque, and I'm really delighted to be able to play with Miri together in this way for our string spotlight. So I hope you enjoy hearing some music from us and learning a bit about our Baroque string instruments. We are going to begin with a sonata by Mascitti. Neither of us had actually played anything by him before, but we were looking for something that would work just with the two of us without the need for a continual harpsichord or anyone extra to throw into the mix in the technology of it all. So we came across these sonatas. Mascitti was an Italian composer who later settled in Paris, which was where his sonata collections were all published, all 9 of them. This is 2 movements from the 4th sonata from Opus 2 in B flat major. I hope you enjoy.
Thanks, Kirsty. As you can see, I've got two cellos here in front of me. I'll be performing on this cello, which is my Baroque cello, but I also learnt and started learning the cello on my modern instrument, which is slightly different. First of all, let's have a look at the bows. I'm going to come a little bit closer so that you can see them up in more detail. So, we've got my modern bow here, which, as you can see, curves down, as opposed to my Baroque bow, which curves around. This helps us shape the notes differently and really changes the articulation that you can create. I hold my Baroque bow slightly further up, whereas I hold my modern bow right at the heel here. Now onto the cellos. Lots of people say, how do you hold the Baroque cello if you've got no spike? That's one of the most obvious differences between the two cellos. When I'm playing my modern cello, I sit on a higher chair. I'm on the sofa so that you can see everything here. But the spike just rests on the ground and I can easily move my legs in and out of the cello. They just work as a bit of a stabilizer. However, with the Baroque cello, contrary to popular belief, I don't squeeze it between my legs for the whole time. It sort of comes down and rests on my calves. The spike came in to the cello world when repertoire demanded players to go into the higher register and project their sound more fully across symphony orchestras, so larger orchestras in larger concert halls. Another difference that's quite clear to see by the naked eye, especially if I come close, is the strings. These are all silver wound. The bottom two strings of my Baroque cello are silver wound, but they're actually gut strings, often ram or sheep gut. The pitch is another thing that's different with these two cellos. This cello, as with most modern instruments, is at 440, whereas my Baroque cello likes to sit at a slightly lower pitch, which is 415. So that's all pretty much a semitone. So you wouldn't want to play a duet using these two cellos at the same time. There are various other differences, such as the tension and the neck angle of each cello. These cellos do look quite similar in the colour and appearance of the body, because they are both actually brand new. However, this one is a replica of a Baroque cello and this one is in full modern setup. So on my Baroque cello, I'm now going to play the Sarabande and the Gigue from Bach's Suite in E flat major.
Before I carry on with a little bit more solo Bach for violin, I am going to show you a little bit more about the instrument and about the differences between my Baroque instrument that I'm playing on today and the modern instrument that I sometimes play on for other types of projects. So this is my modern violin here. It's structurally obviously not hugely different to the Baroque instrument. There are a few key differences that helped it project more and play with a more sustained sound as concert halls got bigger and orchestral settings got bigger, and repertoire got kind of increased in range and pitch and dynamic. So we have steel or steel wound strings on the modern instrument. We have a longer fingerboard to enable you to kind of get up higher and explore a bigger range of pitch. A chin and a shoulder rest to help keep it in place for when you're doing all that shifting around. and also some differences in the bow. The bow developed a lot throughout history, and there are lots of different variations, but this modern variation is slightly longer than the Baroque version. It's heavier, it's got the stick kind of curved down towards the hair, all to create that sustained projected sound. The Baroque instrument, on the other hand, obviously looks very similar. The body, the neck, the scroll, the pegs of the instrument, all very similar. The neck and the fingerboard are slightly shorter because we don't need to go up so high. There's not such a big range of pitch. The strings are gut, and they are tuned down at 415, just a bit more relaxed. They create a less projected, less kind of intense sound, a bit softer. And obviously no need for kind of chin or shoulder rest because we're not moving around so much. The bow here is curved out the way, it's a bit shorter, it's a bit lighter, it creates that lighter kind of Baroque sound. So the Baroque instrument here sounds like this. And the modern, obviously up a little bit in pitch. Sounds like this. So I am going to stick with Baroque for now, and I'm going to play two movements from Bach's famous D minor partita for solo violin. I'm going to play the Sarabande and the Giga.
next piece that I'm going to play is going to be on my Viola da Gamba. I started playing the gamba when I was in my masters, and once I got used to the extra strings that there are, as opposed to the 4 that I have on the cello, I fell in love with the instrument and the repertoire that you can play on it. Solo, but also in groups, so you finally get to play with the other instruments of the viol family in consorts. So you've got the treble viol, the tenor viol, and the bass viol, which is this one. So talking about the extra strings, this viol is a 7-string bass viol. Some of the bass viols only go up to down to the 6th string, and as well as there being more, the intervals between the strings are different to that on the cello. So in the cello you're in 5ths all the way, but here we've got a D at the top, an A, an E, a C, a G, a D, and the 7th, sometimes additional string, is the bottom A here. As well as the extra strings, the bow hold's different. So rather than being overhand, as it is on the cello, we've got an underhand bow hold on the viol, with the push bow being the strong bow, as opposed to the down bow being the strong bow on the cello. I'm going to be playing a prelude from a suite in G major by Marin Marais. It's from one of his books for solo viol. He wrote many books of solo repertoire for the instrument, as well as a sort of instruction manual on how to approach this music that he's written, as well as general technical advice for the instrument.
Thank you so much for tuning into our string spotlight concert today with Baroque and Baroque. Both Miri and I have had a lot of fun putting this together, and we hope you've enjoyed listening to the music and learning a little bit more about our Baroque instruments. We're going to try to finish off now with a piece for all 3 instruments that you've heard today. But first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your support for Baroque and Baroque during what's obviously a really difficult time for everybody. We are so grateful for the opportunity to keep making music together, and we really hope we can continue to do so, obviously throughout this time and long into the future as well. We would be so grateful for any support you feel is appropriate, any donation you feel is appropriate for today's online concert, and the information will be available at the end. But even if not, we really appreciate your support watching and listening, and we hope you will be able to enjoy the rest of our online content that we have planned over the next couple of months. It's all looking very exciting. So we're going to finish off now with a piece by Buxtehude. It's a chaconne from his 7th sonata, and like I said, it's going to be all 3 of the instruments that you've heard today, so violin, cello and gamba, and thanks to technology we are going to be lucky enough to have not 1 but 2 Miris for this one. So from both of us, thank you again so much for listening, and hope you have a lovely week.
Thank you.